Conservative Commentator Benedict Spence once again. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. I understand you've got the latest lurgy doing the rounds.
Yes, this is...
So we're just going to sort of...
do you know what? I've been counting how many days I've had lurgy this year. We're into the 50s.
I'm going to go about 360 for me.
Honestly, that whole thing. Do you remember that thing we had? I think it was called lockdown, and everybody was saying, do you know what's going to happen after lockdown is all of the flu and the cold viruses, they're going to mutate, they're going to get worse, and everybody's going to be laid out. Huh, who knew? They were right about that.
Who knew that people were predicting that? Yeah, and then it's actually happened. I mean, genuinely, I've never been so sick as I've been in the last 2 years. I didn't have a single day off sick for 7 years. I'm just not a sickly person, and I'm literally just constantly...
Do you remember?
I do have this thing, by the way. I have a thing right here. It's literally a button in this studio. So you've got, you talk back and things. So the studio can talk to you, and you can talk to them and put things on site. But I've got a button. It's literally called the cough button. It's actually got cough written on it, and it's so you can go and you can't hear it. So luckily for you, I do have that button. But you may be using it when Benedict's coughing. Also, when he's talking, if he's talking nonsense.
Most likely when he's talking.
I'll just turn him off.
I wish I had one. I wish I had one for you. This could be great
my
fun.
husband, literally, he's been talking to the engineers for years here, saying, is there a way of creating one of those for me at home?
I time it, though, very specifically for certain words, so that your sentence would almost make sense, but everybody listening at home would be like, but I missed it.
A crucial knot might be missing, but there we are.
I wouldn't censor you, I'd just irritate you.
As usual, as usual. Let's talk about these free TV licences for benefit claimants. This is a government review of the BBC's Royal Charter published yesterday. It said more than half of poorer households don't keep up with their payments for the licence fee. It costs £174.50 a year. But, people on lower incomes should get, free TV licences. This happens in Germany, so it must be OK. I mean, these people are stark staring and saying, I object to people on benefits, outwork benefits, getting like lower council tax and things. I get the whole, if you're blind or you get a 50% discount.
TV.
Well, fair enough, because you're getting telly, but you're not getting fair enough. And over 75s on pension credit, and those in residential credit. I've got no issue with that, but I just find it quite extraordinary.
Well, the reason why they're doing this is because simply so many people do not pay their TV licences, and they don't have the resources, I think, to actually go and prosecute most of these people. That's ultimately why they're just going. What they're doing is they're saying, well, the crime won't exist anymore, therefore it'll solve a lot of problems.
But then I imagine those people still won't pay their if there was a discounted one, they wouldn't pay it. So if you don't pay it, so if the rest of us just say we're not going to pay our TV licence, will they cancel it then?
I mean, you could try. I'm genuinely serious. If enough
I'm
people
very
just
jealous of the
not
number of people who do say I don't pay my TV licence. I can't break the law.
Yeah, lots of people do not pay their TV licences, and so ultimately I think what you will see, and we will see this actually with lots of things. Another very good example of this is drug laws, which is that simply after a while they decide, look, there are so many people breaking this particular law, we cannot be bothered to prosecute this many people.
So we don't bother.
So we will change the law so it's not a crime anymore.
But crucially, again, if you just don't bother, then people carry on doing it, and then it is really, really bizarre.
Well, it is the sign of a state that has simply lost the energy, it's lost the drive, and therefore it is starting, it's starting to lose its legitimacy, because it's the same with, for instance, defending the armed forces of the border. They just go, well, we can't be bothered to do that, at which point you have to say, so what's the point of the state?
Yeah, exactly. You're not doing the stuff we care about. But again, also, people just have their taxes going up. We've got the cost of living going up for everybody. But let's help people on benefits. We've got benefits explosion. The government, they've got all these different reviews, whether it's Alan Milburn or anyone else, doing a review of, why are all these people who, way higher percentage of young people in particular, claiming on the sick, as opposed to in other countries? Do you really need to have someone do a review? I mean, literally, you could call round job centres and speak to some people honestly and say what's going on and talk to it. I mean, I'm sorry, this is not beyond the wit of man, this. There are plenty of people you could get people into a room, get your focus group in, and everyone will tell you, what's your family member who's on the sick doing? Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. If there was something like, we are rebuilding this nation, we are going to be investing in infrastructure, we are getting everyone, it's all hands on deck, or we're going to be investing, I really think we should be spending probably double what we're spending right now on defences, because I think, and as the rest of Europe should be doing as well, not because I'm a warmonger, because I want to avoid war. If we're going to be getting all hands on deck in terms of waiting lists, we're going to pay doctors double, and they're going to be doing double shifts, and we're going to get all those operations done, and I think people would be fully behind it. I think people go, I don't want my taxes to go up, but they would understand it and get it. It's the fact that people's taxes are going up and more people are claiming benefits.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not going to fly.
Benefits, migrants, all sorts of things that people fundamentally keep saying, I don't want to pay for, and being told, well, buddy, lucky you get to anyway. You don't actually get a say.
And every time a government, whichever hue says they're going to deal with it, the situation gets worse.
But of course, there is this obviously this impending problem, which is the changing demographics, which is that there are now that many people on out of work benefits that the average Labour MP sits there and goes, well, if I don't give them what they want, if I don't financially dope these people, basically, they might come out and vote against me.
Gordon Brown started this with, working family tax credits and all this. Basically, if you put everybody on the payroll, it's in everyone's interest to have a government that will continue to keep them on the payroll.
Yeah. And we're seeing this actually reflected in the fact that every solution to every problem is not, in fact, to cut state spending. It is to tax the private sector more.
Yeah.
We have, we've had a succession of governments, and I have to say, I kind of include Conservative governments in this, that basically view the private sector as a cash cow in order to prop up the public.
Yeah.
At some point, the entire edifice will collapse in on itself anyway. The question is, do you want to entirely trash the private sector first, or do you want to give it a fighting chance of surviving when that inevitably happens?
But again, you won't have a public sector without the thriving private sector. It's so basic, isn't it? Talking of the public sector, first day of 5 days of strikes by junior doctors, now resident doctors, started at 7 o'clock this morning, despite we're told super flu outbreak. We've got a bad strain of flu, and people are in hospital. Some people are saying it's actually already peaked. I know, and we didn't have a lockdown. How did that happen, people? No, barely anyone other than a few nutters on my tube in the morning are wearing masks, and yet people are still living and surviving and going to work and going about their daily business, and kids are at school. How on earth did we manage that as human beings all these years without a lockdown? But there's a lot of anger at doctors, and it's the 14th workout by them in the last few years. It's the 3rd this year. Given that Wes Streeting, as Health Secretary, came in and said, look, the problem is, the government wasn't talking to them. Well, the new Labour government in July 24 talked to them, handed them a 29% pay rise, and what a surprise, within 24 hours the BMA said, and we're coming back for more. And they have come back for more. They now want 26%. They also want, there's various things they want which are actually very sensible things, about more training places, and all in favour of that. But it's fascinating, the support for doctors has gone down massively. It's now only a third of the population supporting doctors in their strikes. They are risking an awful lot of the sort of, the adoration and the love, the sort of, they're on pedestals, NHS doctors attitude that people in this country have.
I mean, again, that goes back to lockdown. We were told that we had to shut our lives down specifically to protect the NHS, and now people turn around and go, and where's my payback? What's the NHS doing for me?
Yep.
They will know people who have missed out on appointments, things like cancer treatment. They will have all sorts of issues. People who have children will have been told, no, don't come to the doctor, don't see them, anything like that. And now here we are, however many years later, and the service still doesn't work particularly well, and doctors saying, I need more. And part of the problem is, ultimately, is that, health secretaries, successive health secretaries, nobody has been prepared to be bold and say that actually what the doctors need, what the NHS needs, is a dose of medicine, is a course of treatment. It needs reform. Because I tell you what, everybody has been saying for decades now in this country, the NHS needs reform. People have got different views on what that entails, but they've been saying the same thing, but it doesn't happen. I'm telling you right now, so many of the complaints that junior doctors, that all doctors, all medical staff have, so many of the complaints would evaporate if the actual structure itself, of the edifice itself, was reformed so that it performed better, so there was less strain on people, so that they weren't having to deal in central London, for instance, with security guards because people were breaking in and there was knife crime, because things are being, and appointments being missed and equipment not working, roofs leaking.
Appointments are missed because people get an appointment in 6 months' time.
Yeah, if the system itself was prioritised for reform, rather than simply going, well, we'll give you a little bit more money to tide you over, and you need some more, okay, we'll give you a bit more, then actually the thing might get solved. Who knows?
Well, we had a report at the weekend that lots of NHS surgeons, and a lot of them don't even work full time in the NHS, they only work mornings, do afternoons at Harley Street, if they're London doctors. Yeah. But they're actually only performing 1 day of surgery a week. I mean, I wonder why we've got backlogs.
But sorry, the irony is the whole time our government is pushing things on us, saying like, don't do this, don't do that, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do it, because it understands prevention is the best cure. Yeah. Why doesn't it actually apply that to the NHS
exactly.
itself?
They don't do it to any of their policies. I mean, talking of things that don't work, learner drivers are facing 22-week wait. I mean, a 5-month wait to get a driving test. That's for the practical test. And basically, it started during lockdown. They basically, you can't sit in a car with somebody, therefore everyone's going to die. The National Audit Office issued a report showing the delay has led to people actually paying, third parties, basically these bots and these organisations are paying to book test slots, and then they're paying up to £500. It's £62 for you to book a slot for it's a weekday driving test. But the key thing is you have to wait. I mean, I know my daughter went through this a year or so ago. It was like 6 weeks to get your theory, and you have to pass your theory. They won't allow you, you're not allowed to actually apply for your driving test, the practical, until you've passed your theory.
Yeah.
But your theory, I think at one point it was only eligible for a year, but because there were such delays, they had to allow it to last for 2 years, and then you're allowed to look for a test. And I think at the time we were looking at 6 to 9 months. So you book one, and then she booked one. It was the same day as a university application interview. So of course the university came first. So you got to, but and then she had to go via one of the apps, and you pay to be on an app. So you can then find out when slots get free. Okay, the government creates the problem, and again they've had. I kid you not. I mean, this is just extraordinary. They have had 19 recruitment campaigns since 2021 to get more of the driving instructors, because they are civil servants.
Yeah.
And they have managed to hire a total of, guess how many? 83. 83 extra examiners.
It's because it's that better.
Because
it's that much better to be on the dole.
Apparently it pays about 28k, but
So
I think these people can earn a
better.
lot. Yeah, people can. Yeah, it's not that much above minimum wage now. I think it may be more. That's the figure I've seen.
But of course there have been a number of scandals, haven't there? Also about people in charge of this system selling off slots to people, and this is another part of the thing. They're not particularly well paid, fine, but ultimately there's actual corruption going on in this part of government, and it's almost sort of brushed under the carpet, just like, oh, it's a few bad eggs, and oh, it's more than one story. It's about 3 or 4 or 5. Oh no, there's quite a lot. Let's not talk about it. Let's ignore it.
There's a massive issue. This is just this is a symptom. Okay, maybe you're not looking to get drunk, but if you've got teenage kids, at some point they could probably go on and learn to drive, right? I mean, again, I didn't learn to drive until my mid-20s. My husband was there, I'm still learning to drive, but I didn't learn to drive until my mid-20s because you couldn't get a job on a local paper. It was a requirement. You had to have a driving licence. You need to be able to get around. So I had to learn to drive. We got our daughter through hers, and she said she passed first time, and she says, total fluke, I'm not safe on the road. She's very clear about it. Very, very clear about it. She hasn't driven since. But it's like, tick these things off the list. But actually lots of people, I've got family friends, their kids live in the middle of nowhere, they can't get anywhere, mum is having to get them to school, and leave at 6 in the morning so she can get back to work on time. A lot of people, and they need their cars for their jobs. You can't actually get a job often without, like my local paper experience, without a licence. And it's an absolute nightmare, and it's this massive bottleneck. You can get the lessons and you can get the job, but you can't do this bit in the middle, and this is just an abject failure of the state. And apparently the issue is these are a certain rank of civil servant, and so if you upped their pay to get more of them, you'd have to up the pay of tens of thousands of other civil servants. Put them on a different special rank then and up their pay. It's just madness.
It shouldn't be beyond the wit of the government.
No, it is, but it is beyond the wit of the public sector.
But again, this is the third, fourth story that we've done this morning, and again, a common theme throughout all of them. Lockdown has played a significant role in exacerbating this problem. This wasn't on the scale at all until the government decided artificially to deep freeze everything and then thaw it without.
You're totally right. And this is one of the key things. And every now and then when we do cover something on the COVID inquiry or some sort of report, I always say why am I talking about this? It's because the reason why we are having to put tax up, the reason every situation we're in right now is as a result of lockdown.
But there is a real reason why this has been memory hold by so many people, because so many people were so keen to unquestioningly go along with it.
Including, by the way,
have that introspection.
Both politicians and mainstream media.
Yeah,
who cheered more lockdowns now, please keep it going.
Hugely. It's a bizarre thing. In the first sort of week just before it happened, there was criticism, there was scepticism, there were conversation. Then the second the government just went bang, it's going to happen. Total silence, and it never. And the questioning, we all remember. We all remember.
I believe the medics at the time, but that was more for me. I haven't done that since. But there we are. Let me also talk about something else we're still dealing with the aftermath of, and that's the aftermath of Brexit.
Jolly good.
Jolly good. Yes. Why not get on
Something
Brexit?
More
and
upbeat.
the clear attempt to roll back Brexit we are seeing with Keir Starmer's overtures to the EU. Like, we should be working with the EU. They're our friends and our neighbours. If they stop trying to punish us for a democratic vote, we would see them more as friends. But British students will be able to study abroad at European universities under this flagship Erasmus EU scheme for the first time since Brexit. That was scrapped as part of Brexit. We had another scheme, the Turing scheme. But later today, the Minister's going to announce that the UK is rejoining that exchange programme. So Britons will be able to spend a year studying at European universities as part of their degree course without paying extra fees, and then vice versa for European students. Here's the problem. One, Most European universities charge fees of about a couple of £100 a year. Ours charged 9,500 a year. So bit of a benefit to the EU students rather than us. We're going to be offering them the tuition fees and the grants ourselves. Oh, brilliant. So we're going to be paying, we're not going to be paying for British students here in the UK. No. Apart from in Scotland, we're paying for those students, but whether we live in Scotland or not. Because, Scotland, you don't pay all of your own costs. But we're going to be paying for French and German and every other student. I mean, frankly, do one on that one. But also, crucially, do you know how many students took a foreign language A-level in this year?
Oh, it's negligible, isn't it?
Under 3% of all A-levels now are a foreign language A-level, OK? At max, I'm rounding it up, 25,000 youngsters took an A-level in a foreign language.
That's not to say they passed it. Let's
they
be clear. They just
passed it. They didn't work. You're right. They passed. Yeah.
Okay. That would be even worse.
But here's the thing. So here's the thing. So how many students do we think from Britain have the language skills to go work in another European country, and how many do you think, among the massive population of Europe, do you think speak English to that standard when English is the second language of the world? I mean, this is clearly a benefit to foreign students. And by the way, mass youth unemployment across most of the EU, higher than our rate.
Huge.
Who do you think is going to benefit from this?
Massively so. And they're all going to come here, and they're going to continue to come here to London, and they're going to continue to undercut wages and push up the prices when they do decide to move here to work, because that's ultimately
and push up rents, so young people in the rest of the country can't.
That'll be the next step. And of course, but the irony of all of this is, even before Brexit, actually there was a massive, sort of disproportionate number coming here than going to this idea that we sort of cut off the opportunity for a generation of young people to go to Europe. Nobody was going there anyway. There weren't any jobs for half of these people, except if you were going to Germany, and nobody's taking German A-level, I can tell you that much.
Exactly. This is a concern of middle class, well-to-do London lefties. Like, oh, little Johnny's going to be able to go and study at the Sorbonne or something. And they're going, it's not just for university students, it's other students. Do they seriously think there are all these kids sitting on housing estates in the north of the country who've never done a foreign language? They were barely taught to a decent standard at GCSE, for goodness sake, by a teacher who's never even been to the country, because they've got to stand in, 2 different teachers they've had over the year. And you think they're going to go and go, I think what I might go and do is go and study in a foreign university. They're living in clown cuckoo land. They're little ivory towers.
They are.
They have no idea how this is not something that's going to benefit vast majority of young British people.
Oh, none of the attempts to realign with the European Union are going to benefit us at all, because the terms would always be negative. But what I would say is, even though it's bad politics for the UK, it's good politics for Keir Starmer, because despite everything, there remains a hardcore in this country of people who genuinely believe, they're probably not listening to this show, but they genuinely believe that all of our problems have not been caused by lockdown or incompetent government. They think it's Brexit. There's a hardcore, and it's almost half of the voting age public still, because those voting trends have not really changed. They genuinely think because if we rejoined, everything would magically get better. And part of me wants us to do that. For the meltdown.
But also,
because when they realised how bad things were, and the Brexit rejoining actually made it worse.
It would cost us more to go. They're the terms we've been given. But also, you'd have a vote on that. People will not vote on those terms. But also, crucially, if you actually look at the stats of all the countries in Europe and how badly they are doing on so many of the same metrics as ours, you'd go, sorry, which ones of those have exited the EU? They haven't. It's the fact that they tie in anything that could have happened as a result of lockdown and anything that's happened as a result of the Ukraine war and energy prices, and they blame everything on the EU. It's an absolute joke.
But even institutional rot in this country going back 20, 30, 40 years when we were in the European Union.
I know.
That's the thing that makes it really
I think that's one of the key issues, is because I think we have got the institutional rot in our civil servants who just haven't been able to do anything, because that's one of the reasons why I voted for Brexit, which was this whole sort of, every time I called a press office as a political editor, they would go at the government, oh, well, no, that's an EU thing. Oh, no, that's a EU thing. Oh, you know what? I want your minister to be able to answer that question in the House of Commons and for you to be accountable. That's why I voted for it. Look, there's so many more things I want to talk about, including Zara Sultana, your party. I will have to get to that a little bit later, because for once I might try and go on time to the break, but demanding that prisons allow urgent medical treatment for Palestine Action hunger strikers who are on remand awaiting the full trial for their alleged actions. And Jen, as I was saying earlier, if only there was a solution on how to help people who are on hunger strike. I believe there's an app for that, Just to Eat. 10:26.